Good evening. It's 6 o'clock. Matter of fact, it's 5 after 6. We usually start right on time. And it stopped raining, so I think hope we're not holding up some people outside. So tonight we're going to, okay, well, I have to talk a while my wife goes check on the door. We're glad to have Don Littleton here again with us. He's played with us quite a few times with me, with my group, but tonight Don has brought his own group out. And I'd like to remind you that we have the year's schedule now, so that you can tell your neighbors who's going to be here, and you'll have a forewarning of the wonderful music that you'll be hearing. So Barbara, we're going to have Barbara and the artists will come up and give us a little talk about her artwork. We have some wonderful artists that are always here. She's been here at least 3 times. I know her work is so wonderful. And the things that she brought this evening, there were some things from L.A., from downtown L.A. Okay, Barbara.
Wow, good evening. I'm missing some of you folks. Wherever you are, come on down. At any rate, good to see those of you who came out and don't let weather bother you and just come out to hear good music, and you are going to be dry and warm. When you leave here tonight, you're going to be happy too. Again, every month I say how lucky I am to know so many wonderful artists. And I do repeat some that have been very popular with other people, and I wait a year or so till they have new work, and tonight is one of those repeats. It's my great pleasure to introduce this artist with whom I've worked for, I don't know, a long time with doing critique groups, and it's always a delight to see what she's got cooked up again. And I hope that you'll give a hearty welcome to Kaneko Rouge.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone to come today, and I'm very honored and pleased to be able to share my work in this very wonderful, artful, and mindful group of people here. I am originally from Japan and lived in Hawaii for maybe 7 years and moved to California. Probably by now I lived in the United States much longer than I lived in Japan. A lot of my works are urban city people and cityscape. So I do like cityscape with working people or just being there. And when I do paint those people, I'm an oil painter, I have to have a connection with them. I have to feel something, what I want to paint. So when I do paint and decide, I have to think, what do I want to communicate with everyone? What do I like? What is so important to me? And it seems like in modern times, this urbanization, everything is very fast, clean, changing, and everybody has to be rushing. We go to restaurant, we check the email all the time. We have to respond, erase, that kind of hustle bustle. But in real life, when I see on those people, they are old people. They are working hard people. They probably don't know how to use those modern iPhones, I'm pretty sure. And I just feel more connection with them than a modern so-called people. I feel those people more real than anybody I've seen. So after the show, and I'll be in the back, I'll be more than happy to talk to you. And thank you very much for coming tonight.
Yes, please stick around afterwards, and we have seats out there that you can sit and really observe her artwork. So a little change. Usually we have the scripture and a little reading done after the performance, but tonight Yvette will be doing a speech that was written by Dr. Martin Luther King, and so she will do that now. Then we have the music, benediction, and then home.
Good evening. This is called the drum major instinct. A lot of you probably don't even know this speech. In fact, this was the last sermon that he did at Ebenezer Baptist Church, February the 4th, 1968. He died on April the 4th, 1968. And it has the scripture in it. So I'm going to read part of it. I've cut it down. It was a 38-minute sermon. And I'll try to give you as much as I can. And you can look it up online, and you can hear it live online. And it's wonderful, wonderful. This morning, I would like to use as a subject from which to preach the drum major instinct. The drum major instinct. And our text for the morning is taken from a very familiar passage in the 10th chapter as recorded by St. Mark. Beginning with the 35th verse of the chapter, we read these words. And as James and John, the sons of Zebedee, came unto him, saying, Master, we would that thou shouldest do for us whatsoever we shall desire. And he said unto them, What would ye that I should do for you? And they said unto him, Grant unto us that we may sit one on thy right hand and the other on thy left in the glory. But Jesus said unto them, Ye know not what ye ask. Can you drink of the cup that I drink of, and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with? And they said unto him, We can. And Jesus said unto them, Ye shall indeed drink of the cup that I drink of. And with the baptism that I am baptized withal shall ye be baptized. But to sit on my right hand and on my left hand is not mine to give, but it shall be given to them for whom it is prepared. And then Jesus goes on towards the end of that passage to say, But so shall it not be among you. But whosoever will be great among you shall be your servant. And whosoever of you will be the chiefest shall be servant of all. The setting is clear. James and John are making a specific request of the master. They had dreamed, as most Hebrews dreamed, of a coming king of Israel who would set Jerusalem free and establish his kingdom on Mount Zion, and in righteousness rule the world. And they thought Jesus as this King of Kings. And they were thinking of that day when Jesus would reign supreme as this new King of Israel. And they were saying, now, when you establish your kingdom, let one of us sit on the right hand and the other on the left hand of your throne. Now, very quickly, we could automatically condemn James and John, and we would say they were selfish. Why would they make such a selfish request? But before we condemn them too quickly, let us look calmly and honestly at ourselves. And we will discover that we too have those same basic desires for recognition, for importance, that same desire for attention, that same desire to be the first. Of course, the other disciples got mad with James and John, and you could understand why. But we must understand that we have some of the same James and John qualities. And there is a deep down within all of us an instinct. It's a kind of drum major instinct, a desire to be out front, a desire to lead the parade, a desire to be first. And it is something that runs the whole gamut of life. And so before we condemn them, let us see that we all have the drum major instinct. We all want to be important, to surpass others, to achieve distinction, to lead parade. Alfred Adler, the great psychoanalyst, contends that this is the dominant impulse. Sigmund Freud used to contend that sex was the dominant impulse. Adler came with a new argument saying that this quest for recognition, this desire for attention, this desire for distinction is the basic impulse, the basic drive of human life, this drum major instinct. Now, in adult life, we still have it, and we really never get by it. We like to do something good, and we like to be praised for it. Now, if you don't believe that, you just go on living life, and you will discover very soon that you like being praised. Everybody likes it, as a matter of fact. And somehow this warm glow we feel when we are praised or when our name is in print, something of that vitamin A to our ego. Nobody is unhappy when they are praised, even if they know they don't deserve it, and even if they don't believe it. The only unhappy people about praise is when that praise is going to too much towards somebody else. But everybody likes to be praised because this real drum major instinct, yes. And not only does this thing go into the racial struggle, it goes into the struggle between nations. And I would submit to you this morning that what is wrong in the world today is that the nations of the world are engaged in a bitter, colossal contest of supremacy. And if something doesn't happen to stop this trend, I'm sorely afraid that we won't be here to talk about Jesus Christ and about God and about brotherhood too many more years. If somebody doesn't bring an end to this suicidal thrust that we see in the world today, none of us are going to be around because somebody's going to make the mistake through our senseless blundering of dropping a nuclear bomb somewhere. And then another one is going to drop. And don't let anybody fool you. This can happen within a matter of seconds. They have a 20 megaton bombs in Russia right now that can destroy a city as big as New York in 3 seconds, with everybody wiped away, every building. And we can do the same thing to Russia and China. But let me rush on to my conclusion, because I want you to see what Jesus was really saying. What was the answer that Jesus gave these men? It's very interesting. One would have thought that Jesus would have condemned them. One would have thought that Jesus would have said, "You are out of your place. You are selfish. Why would you raise such a question?" But that isn't what Jesus did. He did something altogether different. He said in substance, "Oh, I see you want to be first. You want to be great. You want to be important. You want to be significant. Well, you ought to be. If you're going to be my disciple, you must be." But he reordered priorities, and he said, Yes, don't give up this instinct. It's a good instinct if you use it right. It's a good instinct if you don't distort it and pervert it. Don't give it up. Keep feeling the need to be important. Keep feeling the need for being first. But when I want you to be first, I want you to be first in love. I want you to be first in moral excellence. I want you to be first in generosity. That is what I want you to do. And he transformed the situation by giving a new definition of greatness. And you know how he said it? He said, now, brethren, I can't give you the greatness. And really, I can't make you first. This is what Jesus said to James and John. You must earn it. True greatness comes not by favoritism, but by fitness. And the right hand and the left hand are not mine to give. They belong to those who are prepared. And so Jesus gave us a new norm of greatness. If you want to be important, wonderful. If you want to be recognized, wonderful. If you want to be great, wonderful. But recognize that he who is greatest among you shall be your servant. That's a new definition of greatness. And this morning, the thing that I like about it, by giving a definition of greatness, it means that everybody can be great because everybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. You don't have to know about Plato and Aristotle to serve. You don't have to know Einstein's theory of relativity to serve. You don't have to know the second theory of thermodynamics and physics to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love, and you can be that servant. This morning, you can be on his right hand and his left hand if you serve. It's the only way. Every now and then, I guess we all think realistically about that day when we will be victimized with what is life's final common denominator. That's something that we call death. We all think about it. And every now and then, I think about my own death. And I think about my own funeral. And I don't think of it in a morbid sense. And every now and then I ask myself, what is it that I would want said? And I leave the word to you this morning. If any of you are around when I have to meet my day, I don't want a long funeral. And if you get somebody to deliver the eulogy, tell them not to talk too long. And every now and then I wonder what I want them to say. Tell them not to mention that I have a Nobel Peace Prize. That isn't important. Tell them not to mention that I have 300 or 400 other awards. That's not important. Tell them not to mention where I went to school. I'd like somebody to mention that day that Martin Luther King Jr. tried to give his life serving others. I'd like for somebody to say that day that Martin Luther King tried to love somebody. I want you to say that day that I tried to be right on the war question. I want you to be able to say that day that I did try to feed the hungry. And I want you to be able to say that day that I did try in my life to clothe those who were naked. I want you to say that day that I did try in my life to visit those who were in prison. I want you to say that I tried to love and serve humanity. Yes. I want you to say that I was a drum major. Say that I was a drum major for justice. Say that I was a drum major for peace. I was a drum major for righteousness. And all of the other shallow things will not matter. I won't have any money to leave behind. I won't have the fine and luxurious things of life to leave behind, but I just want to leave a committed life behind. And that's all I'm going to say. If I can help somebody as I pass along, if I can cheer somebody with a word or a song, if I can show somebody he's traveling wrong, then my living will not be in vain. If I can do my duty as a Christian ought, if I can bring salvation to a world once wroth, if I can spread the message with as the masters taught, then my living will not be in vain. Lord, I got it caught up in that. And these are the last two verses. Yes, Jesus, I want to be on your right or your left side. Not for any selfish reason. I want to be on your right or your left side. Not in terms of some political kingdom or ambition. But I want to be there in love and in justice and in truth and in commitment to others so that we can make of this old world a new world. Martin Luther King.
Don? Yeah, all of his speeches you can find online. Hey, play until you finish. Enjoy.
1, 2. Good evening. I'm doing fine. How are you? My name is Don Littleton, and the name of this group is called Elephants in the Park. We want the killings to stop these beautiful animals for their ivory tusks. So that's one of the reasons why I named this group Elephants in the Park. And now we're gonna play some music for you. That's entitled Modal Citizen. It's not your ordinary citizen. He's a modal citizen. The name of that one is called Let's Get Lost. Let's get lost in each other's arms. Let's get lost. How about a hand for Hideki Tokunaga on the guitar, ladies and gentlemen. Pablo Calagaro on the woodwinds. Michael Advidres on the bass fiddle. And yours truly, Don Littleton, on drums and something on that. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank you for coming. We really appreciate you. Oh, hello, can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? Okay, yeah, that was written by the bassist, Jimmy Garrison, when he was with Elvin Jones's trio called Ascendant. This one is written for our elephant friends. It's called The Elephant Flute Walk. The Elephant Flute Walk. Written by?
I wrote it, but it was for Yusef Lateef. So that's if you all remember Yusef, we do. We do.
Here's another one written for our friendly elements.
That was called Elephants Just Play. Because sometimes elephants play, and sometimes we just play. So what kind of... You want to do that blues now, or what's the timing? Baya? Start down in Louisiana. Invite Laney to come play unless he wants to escape. We don't want Laney to escape. The last tune was Thelonious Monk, Bahia.
Coming. Thank you for coming. Uncle Lanny Hartley. Auntie Yvette Hartley. Hideki Toganaga on the guitar, ladies and gentlemen. Michael Adidres on the bass fiddle. Pablo Calagaro on woodwinds. What you got over there? Bass, clarinet, tenor, flute, soprano. Yours truly, Don Littleton. Good night. We love you. Good night.
All right, before everybody stand up, before we leave, we can say the benedictions on the second page. Thank you, Dusty. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Joan. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And we have a presence on the internet. It's NUMC. Jazz Vespers. Please like us on Facebook. And there's, please take time out there and look at the art. Oh, she's so wonderful. And thank you very much for coming. Tell your friends. Sign up out there on those green cards with your email address and that stuff. We're learning these things. And thank you very much. And on the second page, it is, may the Lord watch between you and me while we're absent one from another. God bless all of y'all. Take care.